Yasa's mother and wife take refuge. Buddha story. Today's story is about how one person's empty heart became a path for an entire family. Yasa lived in wealth and comfort, but deep inside he felt empty. After meeting the Buddha, he understood that passing pleasure could not give lasting peace, and he entered the path. His father came searching for him and became a lay follower. But Yasa's mother and wife were still waiting at home. They were relieved that he was safe, yet hurt because he would not return to his old life. When they met the Buddha, he spoke gently. Do not throw away love, but look carefully at the clinging hidden inside love. What changes cannot be held forever. When the heart tries to keep everything the same, suffering grows. The mother understood that her son had not rejected her love. He had found a path beyond suffering. The wife also saw that Yasa had not left because he hated his family. He had seen the emptiness of pleasure and followed the Dharma toward freedom. The Buddha taught them about generosity, moral living, and the peace that comes when the heart stops grasping. He said, to give is not only to offer wealth, to release the wish to control another person is also a form of giving. As they listened, grief became understanding, fear became trust, the love that wanted to hold. Yasa became love that could bless his path. In the tradition, Yasa's mother and wife took refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. They remained at home, but the Dharma became their refuge. One person's emptiness had led to awakening. That awakening reached a father, then a mother and a wife. Sometimes, love becomes clearer when it stops saying, stay as I want, and begins to say, may you walk toward peace. If this story remained quietly in your heart, please subscribe and like to join me. In the next story, we will hear about the first mission of the disciples. The Buddha tells them, do not go two on the same road. And the Dharma begins to spread into the world. The first mission of the Dharma. Buddha story. Today's story is about the moment when the Buddha sent 60 awakened disciples into the world. At the deer park, the 5 monks had understood the Dharma. Yasa and many of his friends also entered the path. Before long, there were 60 disciples who had seen freedom for themselves. The Buddha gathered them and said, monks, go forth. Go for the benefit and happiness of many. Teach the Dharma out of compassion for the world. Then he gave them one important instruction. Do not let two of you travel by the same road. This did not mean that they should reject one another. It meant that the Dharma should reach as many people as possible. If each monk walked a different road, 60 paths could open from one teaching. Some would enter villages, others would cross forests and rivers. They carried no wealth and no power. They carried simple robes, bowls, and the truth they had lived. The Buddha told them to teach a Dharma that is good in the beginning, good in the middle, and good in the end. They were not sent to collect followers or make their own names great. They were sent to help people see suffering, understand its cause, and discover the path beyond it. The Buddha also said, there are beings with little dust in their eyes. If they hear the Dharma, they will understand. Then the disciples left the safety of the deer park. One walked east, another walked west. They separated, not because their hearts were divided, but because compassion needed many roads. The Buddha did not remain behind in comfort. He also prepared to travel toward Uruvela. From that day, the Dharma was no longer a teaching kept in one quiet place. It became a living path moving toward those who were ready to hear it. If this story remained quietly in your heart, please subscribe and like to join me. In the next story, we will hear about Uruvela Kassapa taking refuge. An ascetic who trusted his spiritual power meets a path deeper than the one he already knew. Uruvela Kassapa takes refuge. Buddha story. Today's story is about Uruvela Kassapa, a fire ascetic who believed he had reached the highest path. Kassapa lived near the Naranjara River and led 500 disciples. People honored him as a great teacher, and he trusted his discipline, spiritual power, and long practice. One day, the Buddha asked to spend the night in Kassapa's fire chamber. Kassapa warned him, there is a fierce serpent inside. It may harm you. The Buddha answered, it will not harm me. During the night, the serpent filled the chamber with smoke and fire. But by morning, the Buddha was sitting peacefully, and the serpent had lost its power. Kassapa was amazed. Still, he thought, this ascetic has great power, but he is not fully awakened like me. Again and again, Kassapa witnessed things he could not explain. The Buddha remained calm in danger and showed a freedom deeper than spiritual display. Yet Kassapa held tightly to one belief. He believed that he had nothing more to learn. At last, the Buddha spoke directly. Kassapa, you are not an arahant. The path you are holding does not lead to complete freedom. These words reached the place Kassapa had avoided seeing. The greatest fire was not the serpent's flame. It was the pride within his own mind. For the first time, Kassapa looked honestly at himself. He saw that even long practice can become another form of clinging. He bowed before the Buddha and asked to enter the path. His disciples chose to follow. They placed their fire ritual tools into the river and began a new life of practice. Kassapa did not become smaller when he bowed. He became free enough to learn again. True strength is not believing we are always right. It is the courage to admit that a deeper path may still be waiting. If this story remained quietly in your heart, please subscribe and like to join me. In the next story, we will hear the fire sermon. We will look at the senses, attachment, and the inner fires that keep the heart burning. The Fire Sermon. Buddha Story. Today's story is about how the senses and attachment can set the mind on fire. After Uruvela Kassapa and fire ascetics entered the path, the Buddha spoke near Yasa hill. He said, "Monks, everything is burning. The eye and visible forms are burning. The ear and sounds are burning. The nose and smells, the tongue and tastes, the body and touches, and the mind and thoughts are all burning." The monks had once guarded flames on ritual altars, but the Buddha pointed to another fire. They are burning with craving. They are burning with anger. They are burning with ignorance. When the eyes meet something beautiful, the mind may want more. When the ears hear painful words, anger may rise. When pleasure appears, we want to keep it. When pain appears, we want to push it away. The sensation may pass, but the mind keeps adding desire and resistance. That is how a small spark becomes a flame. The Buddha taught them to observe what happens when the senses meet the world. Suffering grows when the mind says, "This must remain, this must disappear, this belongs to me." To extinguish the fire, we must first know that it is burning. When desire appears, know that it has appeared. When anger rises, see it before feeding it with more thoughts. When a memory returns, do not hold it as a permanent self. The Buddha taught, when attachment fades, the mind becomes free. The former fire ascetics had cared for flames outside themselves. Now they learned to watch the flames within. A fire weakens when no more fuel is added. Craving and anger also cool when they are seen clearly and no longer followed blindly. What is burning in your mind today? The moment you see it and stop feeding it, the path toward peace has begun. If this story remained in your heart, please subscribe and like to join me. In the next story, we will hear about King Bimbisara taking refuge. We will discover why even a person with great power still needs a place of refuge for the heart. King Bimbisara takes refuge. Buddha Story. Today's story is about a powerful king who discovered that even a throne cannot give the heart true refuge. When the Buddha arrived near Rajagaya, King Bimbisara went to meet him. The king possessed wealth, soldiers, land, and authority. Yet none of these could remove the fear of loss or the burden of responsibility. He sat before the Buddha and listened quietly. The Buddha taught about generosity, ethical conduct, and the limits of sensual pleasure. Then he explained the suffering that grows from craving and attachment. He said, "Suffering exists. It has a cause. It can come to an end. There is a path that leads to that ending." Bimbisara looked at his own life. His throne, riches, youth, and praise could not remain forever. He understood that power may protect a kingdom, but not the heart from aging, change, and death. The king remembered the wishes he had carried since his youth. He had wished to become king. He had wished for a fully awakened Buddha to come to his land. He had wished to hear the Dharma and understand it. Now every wish had been fulfilled. Bimbisara bowed and said, "From this day until the end of my life, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha." Taking refuge did not mean abandoning his duty. It meant placing wisdom above pride and compassion above desire. He wanted his authority to benefit others. The king later offered a quiet bamboo grove to the Buddha and the Sangha. It became a place where monks could stay, practice, and teach. The refuge he found in his heart became a refuge for many people. True strength is not carrying everything alone. It is knowing where to return when fear and desire lead the mind. If this story remained quietly in your heart, please subscribe and like to join me. In the next story, we will hear the tradition of the Bamboo Grove Monastery. We will discover the meaning of the first monastery offered to the Buddha and why a place to stay mattered to the early Sangha. The tradition of the Bamboo Grove Monastery. Buddha Story. Today's story is about the first monastery offered to the Buddha and the meaning of having a place to stay. After King Bimbisara took refuge, he thought about the Buddha and the monks who traveled from place to place. They lived with few possessions and often rested beneath trees or in forests. A wandering life helped them practice non-attachment. But having no stable place could exhaust the body and make the community difficult to sustain. The king searched for a place neither too close to Rajagaya nor too far away. It needed to be quiet for meditation, yet close enough for people to visit and hear the Dharma. He remembered a bamboo grove where the city noise faded. Bimbisara offered the grove and said, "Blessed One, I offer this bamboo grove to the community of monks led by the Buddha." The Buddha accepted the gift and allowed the monks to use gardens and groves as places of practice. The bamboo grove was not yet a large temple filled with grand buildings. It was a shared place where monks could rest, meditate, learn, care for one another, and meet those seeking guidance. The Buddha showed that staying somewhere is not the same as clinging to it. A place can support practice when it is used wisely, shared fairly, and left without attachment when the time comes. The grove was not a wall separating the monks from the world. It was a quiet place where they could restore the body, clear the mind, and return to others with greater compassion. We also need a small place of refuge. It may be a silent corner, a few mindful breaths, a teaching we return to, or a person who listens without judgment. A true resting place does not keep us from life. It helps us meet life with a calmer and kinder heart. If this story remained quietly in your heart, please subscribe and like to join me. In the next story, we will hear about Sariputta and Moggallana meeting the path. Two friends searching for truth finally discover the road they had been seeking. Sariputta and Moggallana discover the path. Buddha story. Today's story is about two close friends who searched for truth and finally discovered the path they had been seeking. Before they became known as Sariputta and Moggallana, they practiced together and promised. Whoever finds the deathless path first must tell the other. One day, Sariputta saw the monk Assaji walking through Rajagaya for alms. Assaji's steps were calm, his gaze restrained, and every movement carried dignity. Sariputta felt that this monk had found something deeper than words. After Assaji finished collecting food, Sariputta asked, "Who is your teacher? What Dharma do you follow?" Assaji answered, "I am a disciple of the Buddha." Then he spoke honestly, "I have only recently entered this path, so I cannot explain the teaching in detail." Sariputta replied, "A short teaching is enough. Please tell me its meaning." Assaji shared a simple verse. Whatever things arise from a cause, the Tathagata has explained their cause. He has also explained their ending. Those few words opened Sariputta's heart. He understood that suffering arises through causes and conditions. If its cause is understood and released, suffering can also end. Sariputta immediately went to Moggallana. Moggallana saw the brightness in his friend's face and asked, "Have you found the deathless path?" Sariputta answered, "Yes, my friend." Then he repeated Assaji's verse. Moggallana also understood its meaning. One friend found the path first, and the other was grateful to learn. Together, they left the place that no longer answered their questions and went to meet the Buddha at the bamboo grove. True friendship does not hold someone in the same place. It shares the light and helps both people walk toward greater freedom. If this story remained quietly in your heart, please subscribe and like to join me. In the next story, we will hear Assaji's short verse. A few simple words open Sariputta's heart and reveal the path of cause and ending. Assaji's short verse. Buddha story. Today's story is about a few simple words that opened Sariputta's heart to the Dharma. One morning in Rajagaya, the monk Assaji walked quietly through the streets with his alms bowl. His steps were unhurried, his gaze restrained, and every movement carried calm attention. Sariputta, who had searched for truth for many years, saw him and stopped. After Assaji finished his alms round, Sariputta asked, "Friend, who is your teacher, and what teaching do you follow?" Assaji answered that he was a disciple of the Buddha. Then he spoke honestly, "I am still new to this teaching, so I cannot explain it in detail." Sariputta replied, "Long or short does not matter. Please tell me only its essential meaning." Assaji shared a brief verse. Of all things that arise from a cause, the Tathagata has explained their cause. He has also explained their cessation. In that moment, the eye of Dharma opened within Sariputta. He understood that suffering does not appear without conditions. It grows through craving, clinging, ignorance, and repeated reaction. Because suffering is conditioned, it can end when its causes are understood and released. Assaji did not try to appear important. He simply shared what he knew. When humility in the speaker meets sincerity in the listener, even a few words can become a living teaching. Truth does not always arrive through a long explanation. Sometimes a peaceful life and one clear sentence are enough to open a closed heart. We can also ask what keeps our suffering alive. What gives anger more fuel? What keeps fear alive? Seeing causes is not a way to blame ourselves. It is a compassionate way to stop repeating the same suffering. If this story remained quietly in your heart, please subscribe and like to join me. In the next story, we will hear about Moggallana's deep practice. He possessed quick ability, but he still needed disciplined training and the right path to guide that power wisely. Moggallana's deep practice. Buddha story. Today's story is about Moggallana, a gifted disciple who learned that ability still needed discipline in the right direction. After becoming the Buddha's disciple, he progressed rapidly in meditation. Yet talent did not remove every obstacle. While practicing alone, he became overwhelmed by drowsiness. The Buddha asked, "Moggallana, are you falling asleep?" He answered honestly, "Yes, blessed one." The Buddha taught him to change the object of attention, reflect on the Dharma, and recite what he had learned. If drowsiness remained, he should wash his face, look toward light, and practice walking meditation. If the body truly needed rest, he should lie down mindfully and rise without clinging to sleep. The Buddha also warned him not to expect respect or become trapped in arguments. A powerful practitioner still needed restraint and humility. He taught him not to cling to any experience. Pleasant, painful, and neutral feelings arise through conditions and pass away. When they are treated as me or mine, craving grows. When they are observed as changing and released, the mind moves toward freedom. Moggallana later became known as the disciple foremost in spiritual power. But his greatness did not come from ability alone. He admitted when he was tired, accepted correction, changed methods when one failed, and kept every power beneath the purpose of liberation. Talent can carry a person forward quickly. Only the right path can show where that speed should lead. When we feel tired or unfocused, we may need to change the conditions, move the body, rest wisely, and begin again. Real progress is not measured by speed or experiences. It is measured by whether greed, anger, and delusion are becoming weaker. If this story remained quietly in your heart, please subscribe and like to join me. In the next story, we will hear about Mahakassapa taking refuge. He leaves luxury behind, accepts a worn robe, and begins a life of simple and disciplined practice. Mahakassapa takes refuge. Buddha story. Today's story is about Mahakassapa, who left luxury behind and chose a worn robe and a life of simple practice. After leaving home in search of a true teacher, Kassapa met the Buddha beneath a tree between Rajagaya and Nalanda. He bowed and said, "The Blessed One is my teacher. I am the Blessed One's disciple." The Buddha did not first command him to take on harsher austerities. He taught Kassapa to act with moral care toward other monks, listen closely to beneficial Dharma, and keep mindfulness of the body present. Later, while traveling together, Kassapa folded his outer robe and offered it as a seat for the Buddha. When the Buddha remarked that the robe was soft, Kassapa offered it to him. The Buddha asked, "Then will you wear my worn hemp rag robe?" Kassapa answered, "Blessed One, I will." What he received was not a finer robe or a symbol of status. It was a responsibility to practice without depending on comfort, praise, or special treatment. Mahakassapa's simplicity was not forced poverty or a performance meant to impress others. It meant not compromising his conscience to obtain something, not resenting what he did not receive, and not feeling superior when something was given. A worn robe alone could not make the mind humble. The deeper practice was to remain teachable, treat others carefully, and use what was needed without allowing possessions to decide his worth. Taking refuge does not end with calling someone your teacher. It means choosing how to live, how to learn, how to treat people, and what is truly enough. Mahakassapa's life showed that simplicity is not punishment. It is the freedom that appears when unnecessary wants no longer control the direction of practice. If this story remained quietly in your heart, please subscribe and like to join me. In the next story, we will hear about Anathapindika's offering of Yeda's grove. Through one householder's choice, we will reflect on where our possessions can be used so that the heart may become more peaceful.